here. We're actually going to be recording this and posting it to the Meant for More podcast. So you guys are getting a sneak peek at what's going to be up on the podcast in a couple weeks. So I thought, because some of you are new to the group, some of you are maybe curious how Kristin and I came to coaching and what this whole coaching thing is all about. We get lots of questions around what is the difference between coaching and therapy. We thought we would kind of share our story and talk a little bit about that and some of the things we had to overcome to actually get to this point, because we know many of you are probably struggling with self-doubt and want to do big things, but you've been holding yourself back for probably a good part of your life. Because I don't know about you, Kristin, but that was me for many, many years.
Oh, definitely.
Many years of holding ourselves back. So I thought I'd start with Kristin and let you kind of share what brought you to the point of, one, wanting to explore that, meant for something more in you. You're like, I know there's something else that I was meant to do. And how did you start to go down that path?
Okay. So I think like a lot of us, I really never thought about what I wanted. You kind of have a general idea of what you want in life. And I knew that, I wanted to have a career. I wanted to get married, have children, have a life, that kind of thing. But that's kind of pretty much as far as I went with it. I had an awesome career. I was a paralegal, did a lot of administrative assistant work, and that kind of fell right into my I love to help people mentality that I have. And then from there, my husband and I met, married. We moved a lot. He was in the military. He was in the Navy when we first met. And so I was content with moving where he did and got jobs along the way. And then we decided to have children and you do all that. And it was sort of, my life became where you go from the next thing to the next thing, the next thing. Never really thought about it much. It's just, you do what you got to do. And so somewhere along the line, I went through all the different processes, and I just got to the place where I felt like I was just going through the motions. I'm the mom, I'm the caregiver, I'm the do everything for everyone person. And as much as I enjoyed that and I chose that, I never really thought it through. And so at some point, I felt this overwhelming, unfulfilled, like what is going on? And it was sort of that feeling of, I don't even know who I am anymore. I had someone come to me and ask me, well, hey, what do you like to do for fun? And that question stumped me, like completely stumped me. And I was like, oh my gosh, really? I don't even do anything for fun anymore. I mean, I had a great life and I was having fun along the way, but for me, what do I enjoy doing? I had no time to even do things for me. And so then it just started this whole feeling inside of me of, I have lost me. I don't even know who I am. Is this what I want? So it was sort of all these questions that just started plaguing me. And then of course, those feelings of, the woe is me feelings that you get into. And so for me, I started with podcasts were awesome because I had this very full, very crazy life in the car, running, going. I have 3 children, all the activities. And so my solace was I would listen to podcasts. And I started listening to more, people who were helping you understand, what is it you want? There is more. And I was like, I want more. It was like, yes, I feel deep in my soul that I have a greater purpose. I mean, yes, being a mom, I think is awesome. And one of the biggest, hugest purposes in the world, because you're helping form the next generation. So I was very happy and content in that. But there's more. Like, I just felt like that's not all that I was meant to do. And so it was that path that I started going through. And then our children were going off to college, and I knew that I didn't want to go back to the law firm. I didn't want to go back to punching a clock and having to, I wanted to be able to be there for my kids, spring break, different things that would happen. I wanted to be able to travel and be able to be there, because unfortunately my children chose a college that was 17 hours away, so by car. So I wanted to be able to go. I wanted to be able to do that. So no punch. Yeah. Well, I don't blame them. I don't blame them at all. Because where we're currently living is not someplace that that they desired to be. And that's not where we're ultimately going to be either. So I was happy that they did that. But with that, I wanted to have the freedom, to be able to go and be with them. So I started looking to see, and of course, having been a paralegal, I'm like, okay, I'm just going to build a virtual assistant business. I'm good at that. I can do that. I'll do that.
Okay.
I started on this entrepreneurial journey, and I started taking on things. Then I realized, okay, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. Like, I started thinking, okay, this is not what I was meant to do. This is not my meant for more. This is busy work. This is not lighting up my soul. It was one of those, I wanted to be able to wake up every morning and be excited to go to work. I wanted to be able to, I want to give back. I wanted to make an impact. I think all of us really want to know that our life mattered.
Yep.
And as much as I know my life mattered as, my mom, as the wife, mother, sister, daughter, all those things that had up to that point. But I'm like, okay, there's so much more. I just wanted to be able to make an impact. And so I was like, okay, well, if I don't want to do this, what do I want to do? I was like, what am I going to do? And so I started looking within. I started getting quiet. I started stopping myself and taking the time to really think and soul search. And that's when I realized that what I would love to do is to help women get past the feelings I had, that overwhelmed, stuck, unfulfilled, who am I anymore feelings. Because I started doing the work, the inner work of making the choices and deciding for myself, being intentional. And I realized that I was organically helping people do that. I was just the coaching thing just came up so naturally. And it's like, that's what I want to do. I want to help women have that transformation. I want to help them look inside and to see that they are meant for more. There is more than just what they're doing. And you can do that and be the good mom and that you want to be. And I think that's part of the problem, is that when we get so overwhelmed and overworked and the woe is me, and then just all those feelings, then you're not the mom that you want to be. You're not the wife you want to be. You're not the employee you want to be, or whatever it is that you're doing. And so then all that guilt that then is on top of us.
Oh, that's like a whole separate episode we could do talking about guilt, especially if for any of the moms out there, the mom guilt, it's real. It's very real.
It's so real.
It's
so
like
real.
The world is telling us you can have it all, right? Well, at least part of the world, like you can be a good mom, you can be a good wife, you can go have the great job. When push comes to shove, you have all these things and you're throwing all these balls in the air and you're realizing I'm not great in all of these areas at once. I'm failing somewhere. And there was a really funny story. I tell Kristin all the time, because we both are into podcasts, we listen to various people. Dave Hollis is someone who I don't love, and I've told Kristin this. I was like, there's something about him that kind of rubs me the wrong way. But he made this analogy when I was listening to him one day about how we're all juggling. We're all juggling various balls. The balls are a mix of glass balls and plastic balls. And if we're juggling, some balls are going to fall. And it's like making sure that the plastic balls are the ones that truly are the ones that drop first. Like being able to identify, what are the glass balls in my life of all the things I'm juggling? Where are my priorities at? Because I think that's an area where a lot of women struggle. And we hear this, I'm sure you hear this with clients all the time. I don't have time.
Oh, that's the biggest one. I don't have time. I can't stop. I got to keep going. I don't have time.
How much of it is usually about time versus about priorities?
Always. It always comes down to the priorities.
Yeah. Like, what are you prioritizing?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's so crazy.
And the problem is we're so busy. We keep going. We don't even have time to even figure out what the priority is.
Yeah.
We know we need to make a change, but we just don't even know how to make that change.
Well, and it's like, it's why you and I decided, we came to coaching. We know that work needs to be done. We know a shift needs to take place inside ourselves to make the things we want in our lives possible. But so many of us aren't willing to do the work, or we want the transformation now.
Oh, right now. Yes.
Sorry, ladies, if that's what you came to the group for, or that's what you're hoping for, like magical, wave the magic wand, transformation, here it comes. It's like, no. Like Kristin, we all followed a path. And I think we both can relate to the fact that like maybe we weren't where we wanted to be prior to where we are now, but it is part of our journey. Like we had to go through that to get where we are now. But there was a moment where we recognized this can't be everything that my life was meant to be. Or I'm settling in some way. And like Kristin, I'll share, you know, I came to coaching much in the same way, following a husband around, moving all around the country. Didn't have kids until later in life because we were too busy. I worked in corporate America. I did very well financially. That kept me in it for a very long time.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
The security of the paycheck, you know, even some of the ego part of it, like I'm climbing the ladder, I'm doing the things, I'm checking the boxes. But it never felt fulfilling. It was just like, oh, it's safe. And, you know, it's steady paycheck. And I can't really complain. It's not bad, but I never loved what I was doing. And it wasn't really until I had my son 4 years ago now that I really took the time to be like, what do I want to do? At least from a professional perspective. Because I was working in an industry that required me to travel a lot and work a lot of hours. So I was at that point where it was like, okay, these are my options.
Need to make a choice.
Yeah, never see my son or my husband because I have to work, one, to afford to live where we were. We were in California at the time. I don't know if anyone in this group lives in California. That's where I'm from. Love it to death, but it is the hardest place as a young person to raise a family. Both people in the partnership have to be working most of the time to make it affordable. We're not in the position our parents were where things were more affordable. So we're hustling, trying to make ends meet, never feeling like we could get ahead. So it came when we had our son, it was like, okay, what are we doing? Do I want to be away from the home? Do I want a nanny raising my son? So it was like almost this existential dilemma too, because it's like, I don't want to be a stay-at-home mom. I never pictured that. But at the same time, I don't want someone else raising my kid. So it was a really hard moment to come to be like, okay, I'm not going to go back to work, at least my traditional sense of work. I need to figure something else out. And I grappled with what that something else was for the better part of 3 years as my son got into toddlerhood. I was like, okay, I took odd jobs. I kind of freelanced here and there. I never really took the leap. I was still playing safe, playing small. Because it was scary to think what's on the other side of the safety and security. And then the pandemic hit. And I don't know, a lot of people had this moment when the pandemic hit. We had to pause.
That's what we called it here too, the great pause.
And it was hard in my household because it was hard to pause with a toddler in the house.
Oh, God bless you.
Literally bouncing off the walls.
Yes.
But fortunately, he was at the age where he still napped. I don't have that luxury anymore. But then he was napping, and those were my moments. It's like, okay, I can count on at least 2 hours. This kid's going to be down. I have some quiet. And I took that time really for introspection, really listening to that voice inside of me that said, what are you doing? You keep playing small. You keep not believing you can do the things you want to do. You've had this voice in your head since probably college that said you wanted to go serve other people, whether it was in counseling or something in that realm. But I always chickened out. It's like, nope. Something told me I'm not good enough. I don't know enough. I'm not ready. I might fail. All those voices. Do you have any of those?
All those voices. Oh my gosh, yes.
And
who am I to?
Yeah, who am I?
Who am I to do this? Who do I think I am? Who do I think I am?
And it's like, there's so many other people doing this. Why would someone want to like work with me versus this other person? And there was a lot of noise. And I feel like there is a lot of noise we cut through in the beginning as we're starting to take that pause and really getting clear. Because the doubt can be so loud that you're like, no, I'm just not going to do it. I'll just settle for this life I know, even though it's not really what I want.
It's safe. It's comfortable.
Yeah, but it's required if you're going to take that next step into whether it's greatness or something new, something that really pulls at your heart, something you feel like you were meant to do, you're just not doing it yet. You have to get quiet. You have to feel all the things that come up. So when
there are lots of things that bubble up too.
So when that was happening for you, what things were coming up for you?
Yeah, I went through the knowing I wanted something more and feeling that and saying, yes, this is what I need to do. But then I would have the doubts and all the things and, like all that it's going to take and all that, that kind of thing. And and it would silence that voice saying, no, this is what you need to do. Even though like you, I knew in my heart, like Jamie Kern Lima always says, that inner knowing. I knew, but I kept ignoring it. And then at some point, the ignoring it became a problem, because then I started to feel it's not really guilt, but it's that the feeling of it's not keeping a promise to myself. It's that, it's like, okay, now I am failing me. So not only am I failing my family and failing, I'm failing me. So I'm failing in life. And it's just this round robin. And that's why I said this overwhelming, swirling thoughts that just constantly beat you up. So it affected my sleep. It affected, all of my life. And then the biggest thing for me was I was then not present ever. I was always just doing the next thing that needed to be done. I was trying to silence my head, the battle that was going on. And, it's being present. Someone I had heard said one time, be where your feet are. And that's what I started with, is like, okay, I'm going to stop. When I'm with the family, I'm with the family. Yeah. Stop thinking about anything else. Don't check the phone. Don't, none of the jump up to go do something. No, be present. And I think that's one of the things we don't do. We never stop ourselves, take the time to be present in anything, because we're worrying about the past or we're worrying about the future.
Yeah, 100%. We just, and we're distracted on top of it all. Yeah. I mean, there's been so many
100,000.
There's been so many great things with the advancement of technology, right? Like we're more connected than ever, yet we're also
more disconnected
than ever, because we can't lift our heads up from our phone. Even when we know, like, I don't know if you have these moments still, like I will catch myself in these moments to this day.
Oh yeah.
Why is this phone in my hands right now? It's family time. Mm-hmm. Because really, I got to the point where it was like, I was getting the guilt feelings around the amount of time I was spending with my family. I went immediately to quantity. Like I needed to spend more time. And I was like, well, it really doesn't matter how much time I spend with my family if it's not quality time. Like I'm not really present. So then the message changed for me.
Yes.
Okay. It's not about how much time, because let's be honest, as women, we never feel like we have enough time, right? So it's like, okay, how do I make this quality time? Even if I have an hour with my son at the end of the day, what are the variables I can control? Mm-hmm. And that for me was the first thing was put the phone away.
Put the phone somewhere else. Yes.
Somewhere else. Some of us, it's like we have these watches too. They're speaking to us.
Yes. Yes, me too. Yes.
Maybe we need to take our watch off too, because it's pinging us and now we're being distracted there. It's like, ooh, do I need to go pick up my phone? Because I struggle with this too. Mm-hmm. Boundaries.
Yes. Yes.
We all struggle with
turning off the notifications and all. All the things.
But I loved where you were going with all all the voices we have in our heads and like all the expectations we have of ourselves, and really the expectations we've allowed other people to place on us as well, that we carry.
We take them on.
Yeah, and we're so worried about letting people down.
Mm-hmm.
I think it takes a long time for us to get to the point where, like you looked at yourself and said, I'm letting myself down. I've been so worried about letting everyone else down. I'm not even looking at myself anymore. And that's where I would encourage all these women that are in this group and anyone listening to this. It's like, where are you letting yourself down right now? And where are you placing an expectation on yourself that's also not realistic? Because we know this process is a journey. And we talked about there is no miracle. There's no miracle.
There's no miracle cure. Yeah, there's no light switch.
No, we wish we could flip that switch for you. Like that would make selling coaching so easy. We have a miracle solution for you.
Overnight success.
Yeah, the reality is that doesn't exist. The beauty in coaching, and we know this because we're coaches and we have coaches who coach us, is that we do the work. And we have to be willing to do the work, and we have to be willing to take more moments to become present and conscious and almost hit our rock bottom. Did you feel like you were at a rock bottom at some point almost, or like your bottom? Like something needs to change, or it's like, it's going to be bad.
Oh, I just felt like I was so on such a merry-go-round feeling, it was like, stop the merry-go-round. I've got to get off or I am going to go insane. Yeah. It was that feeling. But it wasn't, I will tell you, it was like, it's one of those, as you start getting quiet and start thinking through what you want to do and there will be a little more like guilt and a little more things that come up because things bubble up, and things that because you've pushed it down for so long, because you just go to the next thing and do all the things that are expected of you and I don't know about you, but for me, a lot of it I realized is that it was me. No one else cared about everything being a certain way. It was me. And so I was putting even more expectation on myself. And then as you go through it, you start to feel bad that you did that. It's this round robin thing. But I will tell you, ladies, like on the other side, you will be so glad that you did it, because you get back to the core of who you really are, who you want, not the voices that, not what mom and dad felt or what you thought they thought, or, what other people expect of you. To be able to analyze, what do I think? What do I want for myself? And, recreate the beliefs that you've had for however long you've been alive.
Yeah. And I mean, we've been talking a lot this past week, Kristin and I, about this idea that a lot of the beliefs and the behaviors that we are acting out on a daily basis as adults, they were formed when we were children. And think about that. It's like the longer they've been rooted in us, the harder those things are to break. So it really takes taking a deep look at kind of what's been driving you up to this point. Like, what's the identity you've latched onto? And I was sharing with Kristin, over the past couple of days, I had kind of an aha. I was thinking about my childhood and my formative years, and maybe how I started to create my identity as a child and how that's played out today. And a big part of my identity is be the good girl. Be the good girl. And you could ask my mom, I was always the good girl. I was the good child. I was the one that never rocked the boat, didn't speak out of turn, really didn't speak up. My brother came along when I was like 3.5, and he filled up that space just fine. So I was always the good girl. And it's like, how has that bled into my adult years? And we talked about, well, what's the opposite of good? Bad. So as I have this awakening as an adult, does that mean I need to be a bad girl now? And it's like, no, our minds automatically go to black and white, right? Yeah. It's like this or that. And it's like, no, well, what is your definition of good, for one? Because that's different for every person. But it's like, for me, it was the realization that I don't need to do what is expected of me all the time, or to silence myself because I need to be acceptable to other people. And this is in every aspect of my life. So I'm like, did you have any big ahas as you were on that path to like self-discovery again? Because I feel like so many of these ladies maybe are just starting, or are like, oh my gosh, I'm so overwhelmed. Like, I don't even know what's going to come out of Pandora's box when I start digging in. What was like your big realization about yourself?
I think one of the biggest things as I was going through it was realizing, just like you, when you think about your place in your family unit, even from very, very young, very, very young, and the roles that you take over or you think are, they're expected of you. And sometimes it's because that was the one thing that you got positive affirmation from your caregivers about. And so, okay, that they like me. I got pats on the back, for that. And so you start getting into those patterns, and then those patterns just stay through life. And for me, I realized that I had put such a value on positivity and happiness. And it was like, I would do everything at all costs to make everyone happy. And that's not, it's fine, but, I realized the patterns that started way back. And so then it became like you, not speaking up, not telling my truth, not being the person who is contradictory in any way. So I became very malleable. I became like, everything was fine. Everything is good. I can take care of everything. Yes, no, yes, we can do that. Yes, we can do that. And so I started very young, pushing down what I wanted, never saying what I wanted. And so that carries with you through life. And I was just amazed when I look back that pattern, and the more like is the more you do it, the more ingrained it is, and those grooves that get into your brain. And so that's your go-to every time. And it's like breaking that pattern, like, it's okay to say you don't want Italian food today. It's like, it had gotten to that point where it was like, it's fine. No, that's fine. Whatever everybody else wants.
It's fine. I have to hear the word fine again, I swear. I love that you're making that point, that it can be such a small way to start, because it can feel really overwhelming to be like, I'm going to radically transform how I show up tomorrow. It's like, no, because like, it's hard. But like we said, it starts with the awareness part of it, the learning to become more present and conscious of the behavior. And if it's something that's not serving you anymore, you start to slowly break it down. And maybe that means, like she said, you say that you don't want that type of food that day, because maybe you've just been saying whatever you want. You've been bending to everyone else. No, you just decide. You just decide. And Kristin, I remember you were talking the other day about this idea of being a chameleon. All of us women, I feel like, are chameleons for most of our life. We're like, we'll just adapt to our environment. But then I asked Kristin, why does a chameleon change its colors in the wild? Why does a chameleon change its colors?
Protection.
Yeah.
Fear.
Are we using it as a form of protection? We're adapting because we are so uncomfortable with the idea of being who we actually are. And that's like sad and scary.
Sad, yes.
And it's like, I think that's why Kristin and I came together. It's like, we see so much potential in women, and we're starting to see more and more women realize what they're capable of and step into their power and own who they actually are and not be ashamed or afraid of it. And it starts in small moments. And I think that's kind of the point of today. It's like looking at those small opportunities in your life to start going inside, getting a little bit curious about how you're showing up, who you are, what you want. And I mean, you're going to see a lot of this type of content within this group. asking you to kind of look at something or think differently about something, because we're all conditioned. We have a lot of programming, some working for us, some working against us. And it's really the looking at the stuff that's no longer serving us. It's kind of what we do as coaches, right? We have you look at, ooh, so you're telling me all these things, you're telling me this is what you want, but how is that serving you in getting there? Because a lot of the times the things we do day in and day out, maybe we think are helping move us forward, they're actually not. They're keeping us in the box.
Yes.
Keeping us safe. Because we do want to feel safe. I mean, let's not disregard that either. Like, safety is important. So how
and that's our brain's job too, is to keep us safe. I mean, that's the whole point of our brain, that everything they're doing is trying to keep us safe. And so even noticing sometimes can start to feel unsafe, because now I don't, okay, wait.
Yeah.
But so I think it's, the little small things. It's like, even just starting with when you have a thought, or you notice, like you're reacting a certain way, or you're doing something, it's like, stop yourself and notice it. I'm like, okay, what is that? Why do I think that? Why do I feel that? What's actually, and then making a conscious decision. Is this something I do want to do, or something I really don't want to do?
Yeah.
Because I think that's where we're just on autopilot so much of our life.
Yeah, I love using that term, and I use it a lot with clients, is like, where can you start to see where in your life you are living on autopilot? Or maybe you have a default setting. This is just what you always do. And if you can start to identify those even little parts of you that are on autopilot, the ones that you're like, oh, why do I keep doing this?
Yeah.
Why do I keep denying what I actually want? That's really the big thing too. It's like, how am I letting myself down or putting others before me when it's slowly killing me inside, is kind of the feeling. You're like,
yeah, I did it again. Yes, I did it again.
Starting to recognize, like, why am I doing that? What am I seeking in the bending to what everyone else wants me to be? What if I tried? And this is where the courage piece comes in too, because Kristin and I talk a lot about how people want more confidence. If I was just more confident, I would do the thing, or I would take the action. And I always argue, confidence is not something, one, that happens overnight, and it's not something you're even really born with. Think about the people in your life that are the most confident people in any aspect of their life. They're not confident for the sake of being confident. They were courageous more times than they were not. They took action in the face of their own fear. And that's really how confidence is built. And that may be what you're struggling with right now. I need to be more confident. Don't be more confident, be more courageous.
The confidence will come with the action.
Yeah. And
and it's not easy. Trust me, it's not easy. It is difficult, but if you just make yourself start taking some small change, some small action, you'll be amazed at the confidence that will come.
And you might even start to scare yourself in like a good way, or scare other people, like, who is this person that's come out? Because it's like, once you start to empower yourself, you can't go back. You've like unlocked a new side of yourself, the side that's been like clawing at you to get out. And once it's awakened, it's like it doesn't go back to sleep. And that may be good for certain relationships in your life, and it may be bad for others. But at least you're being more authentic to you. And that's
being
really
you.
cool. You're doing you.
Yes. Be you. Be you.
So we thought today we just kind of leave you with those thoughts. Like, how did we get to this point? Also let you know, it's a journey.
Yes.
There is no destination.
Continuing journey.
It's a continuing journey, because everyone's like, oh, when do I know I've arrived? It's like, well, there's no real arrival. The journey is the destination when it comes to self-discovery, and even like trying to achieve these things you want to in your life, or becoming what you want to become. Like, it's going to be an evolution, an awakening.
Yeah.
And there may never be an end point, because I feel like, and I don't know if you share this sentiment, Kristin, but like the more you get into this work, the more you want to keep going. You're like, there is
it's
more
exciting.
growth.
Yes, exactly.
Like, I'm just starting to like actually see what I'm capable of. And then it empowers you to keep going. You're like, there's more here. Like, what? I did this one thing that I never thought I could do. Now what?
Yeah.
And it's
Look
like
what
a
yes,
domino effect.
it
So
is.
it propels you.
And that gives you the confidence too to take the next action and to take the next step. I love that you use the word personal used evolution, because I think of it that way. It's a personal evolution, not so much personal development. Like that's a genre, and that's what a lot of people say, personal development, but it's a personal evolution. Mm-hmm. And that is going to continue. And I hope that excites people. I hope that, you ladies are excited about that, because the personal evolution, it's like, wow, what more could you discover about yourself? What more could you become? I mean, to me, that's exciting.
And I think that's why we do what we do. It's like, people say it's because you want to make money and you want to, make this big business. And you're like, yeah, everyone wants to make money at what they do. But honestly, what lights both of us on fire? This is how Kristin and I came to find each other too. It's like, we want the same thing for other women. It's like, it's so much more about seeing that light bulb go off in another woman to be like,
mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've been like totally dimming my own light.
Yes, playing small.
And I'm ready to stop doing that. Like, I need that wake up call. I need to start getting in motion. I need to start figuring out who I am again and what I actually want. And the longer you've been denying it, the more work it's going to be, honestly.
Yeah.
But it's not
Allow yourself to dream.
Yeah. You shouldn't be afraid of it.
Allow yourself to dream. No.
So we'll be coming to you weekly, hopefully, talking about a topic. And then maybe we're playing with the idea of monthly coming within the group and doing more of a focused talk on something. And we want to hear from you ladies. Like, what are the things you're really struggling with? Or what do you want to know more about? Is there something about our journey you want to know more about? Or something about the process of evolving? Like, maybe you're the person who's looking for like, where are the bear traps along the way? Like, where is this going to go bad? Because you're going to go through some stuff that it's not going to feel good when you get there. It may stir some stuff in you that you weren't prepared for, but it is part of the journey.
And there's goodness on the other side. I promise you. I promise you.
As scary as it may seem before you get to that point, all of it is worth it. All of it is worth it. So
now, Lauren, as a coach, it's kind of hard for me. I know we're wrapping up here, but I would like us to leave them with a little homework.
Okay.
Maybe like a little, even just challenge you ladies for 5 minutes. Carve out 5 minutes this week to allow yourself to get quiet. No distractions, no music, no podcasts, no children, no outside noises. If you have to go to your car and lock the door, carve out. I just ask you to carve out those 5 minutes to get quiet and to really think for yourself.
And you can find 5 minutes, trust me. You're probably finding 60 minutes watching mindless TV to really numb what you're feeling. So you can find 5 minutes is always my argument.
Or scrolling on Instagram.
Get off your phone, stop scrolling Instagram or Facebook, and take 5 minutes. Like Kristin said, get quiet, go inside, start to really think about, I always like to tell people, start to think about what your ideal day, even like, don't even think huge picture, because that can feel overwhelming. Like, what, I need to like know what my whole life plan is. I was like, no, you don't. If you're here and you're in this group and you're wanting to do the work, you have to know you start small. And I mean, maybe it's even less than a day. It's just like we're saying, 5 minutes isn't a lot of time. Maybe you can only take 1 minute. I would tell people that too. It's like, take whatever you can carve and take that time. Start doing the work and think about,
you can do it.
Yeah, what would that day look like? What would you be doing? Who would you be with? How would you be feeling? Because I think the feeling part is the thing that we're all seeking, right? It's like this feeling, and it's the feeling that brought you to this. There's more for me than this. I feel unfulfilled, or I feel empty or hollow, or like I'm settling. So start to really think about what you want to feel as you dive into who you are and what you want from this point forward. Because once you start, it's like we said, there's no going backwards. They're just going further. So do that. Reply below the video when you've done your 5 minutes or your 1 minute, whatever it is. What came up for you? Maybe you saw something in your current way of being that's not serving you. Or maybe you're like, it opened up a whole new vision of what you even thought was possible. We want to know.
We'd love to hear about it. Yeah, we'd love to hear about it.
Yeah. So the plan will be Fridays. We'll pop on live together, and we'll probably announce a topic maybe the day before. And like we said, we're very open to knowing what you want to hear about. What are you struggling with right now? Because that helps us kind of inform what we come on and talk about. Because we're all at a different point, but I know we all have shared experiences as well. And we can relate to what each other are going through.
Definitely.
So this has been really fun. Thanks for coming on, Kristin. This is her first live in this group.
Yeah, it's great to be with everyone.
And if you want to replay this, obviously it will be in the group. And then like I said, in a couple of weeks, it will be posted to the podcast Meant for More. So looking forward to that as well. Hope everyone's having a great Friday. We will see you soon.